This podcast contains strong language and adult themes.
Date Night China explores life and love for better relationships in China. Every week, we hear from different guests and dive into dating, relationships, mental health, and how both expats and Chinese people connect with each other here in China.
Join the Date Night community through our podcast and events in Beijing and Shanghai, and catch up on all the latest stories on our official WeChat account.
Find our account on WeChat by searching Date Night China, no spaces, no capital letters. You can also join our WeChat group by adding Rachel, me, on WeChat. You can search Rachel Weiss 22, RACHEL WEISS 22.
And now for this week's episode.
Welcome back, you guys, to another episode of Date Night China. This is the 18th episode.
18, wow, we're really going up there.
Yeah. And joining us today is Paul from the UK and Kelaeni from Fiji and the UK. So Paul and Kelaeni are a couple in China who've been waiting for 3 years to get married. They got engaged in 2019, and finally, they were allowed to get married with the British Consulate here in Beijing. And as a fun bonus, Nathan and I actually got to attend their wedding here in Beijing at the consulate.
What an opportunity, and especially for us since we do Date Night China.
Yeah, it was our first time to see a international wedding at a consulate here. So that was pretty cool. And
it was like a totally emotional day.
Yeah.
Great people, great food.
Yeah.
Loved it.
It was great. So we're going to get into that today. In this episode, we're going to hear more about how they met in a small city in Shandong Province, how they're trying to plan a wedding during the pandemic, what that was like for them, and what their wedding day at the consulate was like. So welcome to our guests.
Welcome. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Now you're there you're back home in Shandong. So if there's a delay, listeners, it's because of that.
Welcome, you guys. And let's start from the beginning a little bit when you both came to China. So Paul, actually one by one, can you tell us where you're from? How long have you been in China? And when did you guys first meet? So starting with you, Paul.
So I'm from Leeds in England. I came to China in 2015. To work as an English teacher, ESL teacher in Shandong, China, in Dongying in Shandong, China, sorry. And then Kelaeni came over a couple of months after me, and we met working at the same school, same English school. So I've been
English
working there a couple of
romance.
Yeah. Did you ever make out
one of those really
in
unusual ones, you know?
We kept it strictly professional in the classroom.
Why are you winking at me? Why are you winking? I'm kidding,
It's
listeners.
still very
He's
hot.
not winking.
In my eyes.
So who made the first move? Who showed more interest first?
Oh my gosh. We actually we became really good friends, and then the school said, okay, you have an apartment to yourself. And because I was I think the only female foreign teacher at the time, so they told me that I could just wait until a new female teacher came, or I could ask one of the other teachers if they wanted to stay with me. It was like I had the choice, you know. So of course I'm like scoping all of the other teachers and like, okay, who's potential psycho, who's not a psycho. And I was getting on really well with Paul, and I thought, I think he'd be a good flatmate. So in terms of the first move for that, I asked him to move in. So we actually started living together and were flatmates.
Whoa.
And then started traveling together. Before we even like started a relationship or started dating or anything serious at all.
So
We were
friendship
just
before dating.
Really good friends. Yes, while also living in the same house.
That's so cute.
And then after all that time of seeing me in the apartment, walking round, just couldn't keep her eyes off me. And then she just fell head over heels.
She just
so
snapped
difficult.
one day, didn't she? She just
No,
buckled.
she just snapped, jumped on me. Yeah, just couldn't contain the inner passion any longer.
I get it, mate. I
So
get it,
true.
mate.
Had to make me hers.
Yeah.
Aw.
We had a
was
similar
very
story. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
I was
Did you
really
really?
Kelaeni. Well,
Yeah, we-
kind of we did.
Yeah, we did. Well, we were like you. We were friends first for a long time before anything romantic started happening.
Yeah, we were friends
Yeah.
for like 8 months, probably.
Yeah.
And then things happened.
Mm.
Yeah. But also, Kelaeni, I realized we didn't let you introduce
Very, very
yourself.
similar.
So tell us actually where you're from
Oh,
and when you came to China. We just jumped right all over that.
I am from Fiji, actually. So I was brought up and worked and lived and everything in Fiji. But my parents are from different countries. So my mother is from Fiji and my dad is English. So I have both those two sides, I guess. And I wasn't teaching before I came to China. I was working at a university doing recruitment. I'd always been in HR, and then it was like, like one of those life-changing periods where like for a year you're just slowly building up the feeling of like, okay, I feel like there's a change coming. I'm kind of done with this path I'm on and need a bit of an adventure or something. So I heard that English teachers were in high demand, like around Asia actually, and that China especially was like really kind of ravenous, I guess, for English teachers. So I just put my CV on one of these recruitment websites and I thought, okay, I'll just leave it there and see what happens. And somebody contacted me the next day. I mean, China, things move so fast here. I was so shocked. I think like the next day, somebody contacted me and they scheduled a video call interview with me within the next 48 hours. And then I had an offer letter within the week. And I was like reeling, So that was a very exciting time for me. Then coming to China was exciting in itself, like being like a single female traveler as well, coming to such a big country from such a small country. And the language is all different. Like I hadn't learned any Chinese at all. And yeah, and then when I got, things like getting picked up at the airport and it was like 10 o'clock at night and the HR guy who I'd been talking to was there to pick me up, but he was also there with two other Chinese guys. And they were there to pick me up in a van. And the van was the only one left in the airport parking lot because Dongying is quite a small city, comparatively speaking. And so everybody had left already. And I was like, oh, my organs, say goodbye to my organs. But yeah, so that was like all like very exciting. And then, and then I joined the same school as Paul. And when I got to know him, he was just such a lovely person and just made such a good impression on me. And I was like, okay, definitely flatmate. He's moving in. Because I was, I really liked you. I thought you were all right. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
you
were
were.
okay.
You were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
Yeah.
so before then though, just like before you were living together and you were forming this friendship. So was there a period where you were exploring the dating scene separately or seeing each other do that or did that just not happen?
Yeah, there was. When I arrived, Paul had already been here a few months and you were seeing somebody, he was seeing somebody. And then I think a few months later, I started seeing somebody as well. And so, yeah, we were kind of living as flatmates, as friends, but then having our own separate, like personal life kind of thing at the same time.
Wow.
But then, both the people we were seeing ended up getting deported,
Yeah.
like in the same week. So they were both
No
foreigners,
way.
both teaching over here, but I guess teaching without the correct paperwork or on the wrong visa, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they both ended up getting deported.
Yeah.
And
And
then,
they actually left Dongying in the same taxi to go to Beijing. So they departed at exactly the same time in the same
That's
vehicle.
nuts.
That
what a
sounds like
what a
Yeah.
sign.
the universe is like
Pushing you together.
making way for you
Yeah.
guys to get
It's
together.
as if somebody organized it all to get rid of Kelaeni's boyfriend and his girlfriend at the same time. It's bizarre.
It is bizarre,
I
isn't
actually
it?
remember us walking them
Hmm.
to the road because the taxi was there or something. And then we were both standing there like, okay, bye, waving them off like, oh. What are the chances, eh?
That's wild.
Just to
That is-
clarify,
Very weird.
That's nuts.
we didn't get them kicked out of the country. That
No,
was
yeah.
And again, is it you're winking again, Paul? What? It's weird. I'm
It's
kidding.
just so hot. I don't know what it's like in Beijing, but it's so hot and sweaty here in Dongying. I mean, it's
And
6:30
is that
at
why you're
night,
both
so it's the
naked?
hottest part of the day. That's what you said in the message you sent before.
Yeah, I
Are
do
we- have
request
we-
that from everybody.
Have we
I
misunderstood?
do.
Yeah.
No, that's great. It's great. I do request that from
It's a
every,
tradition.
Okay, good.
every guest.
Yeah.
Please,
Don't be alarmed. It's fine.
please show up naked, especially when we do the live recordings. That is a definite. Otherwise, I don't let people in the house.
Like we did have a question when you said, "Oh yeah, it's an audio podcast, but we will be recording the video." I did wonder, but well,
No, we
if
don't
it's
need to dwell
tradition,
on it.
it's tradition, eh?
What's the next question?
So how did you go from being friends to being in a relationship then? Did that kind of happen quickly then after being friends for a while?
Not too quickly, I wouldn't say. So we were already living together. Our old significant others had both left. So then we started in the Chinese holidays doing some traveling together. So we visited. Where did we go now? I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, but Zhangjiajie, the inspiration for the Avatar Mountains.
Yeah,
Went to
Beautiful.
Harbin as well during that time.
Went to Harbin for the Snow and Ice Festival.
beautiful.
And then it was coming back from, we did Guilin. So we did some traveling down the Li River. And then it was coming back from Guilin that I think things started to actually turn more towards the romance side.
Yeah.
Romantic.
Yeah.
That's a
Beautiful place,
romantic
Guilin.
place.
Just before that Guilin trip, I remember that we both went home for the holidays as well. I remember going back to Fiji and actually talking to my mom as well about him. I was like, I think I really like him. Oh, it's really awkward. I don't know if I should like him. Then Paul, I think, was in the UK, obviously doing the same thing, I think.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Obviously chatting with his mom at the kitchen table, about this. And so then when we came back from this holiday, I had kind of made up my mind that I think I really, really like him. And I think I want to try to see if this could be like genuinely like a proper relationship kind of thing. Yeah? Or a relationship, not just a friendship. Yeah. And then as we went through the Guilin trip and enjoyed it, just like all of our other travels. And then I just kind of started to feel a bit different, not like just two friends traveling anymore. It felt a bit like, you kind of have the feeling of there's an attraction there that you gotta kind of watch a little, if I'm making sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Did you
In
feel the
Fiji,
same,
you'd
Paul?
call it like wende. You'd call it
Wende,
wende, where
wende.
you kind of like looking at each other out of the corner, like, hey. And then like, oh no, I'm blushing.
Hey.
Oh, okay. Hey.
I think for me, at the start of it, I was maybe more concerned than Kelaeni about if things were to go awry, what would happen to the friendship. Like, we're living together here in China, we're working together. If we start a relationship now, what happens if it goes wrong? Like, one of us moves out the apartment. Like, how do we coexist in this small office together at school? Like all those things were weighing on my mind. But then I decided, well, I don't know if am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So in the end, I thought, well, fuck it. Like, let's let's go for it. I mean, she's a beautiful lady. We get on like a house on fire. Like, why worry about the risk of what ifs? Just go for it. And if it all fails, then you're bigger and stronger than her, so you can stay in the apartment and she can find somewhere else. So
I'm sorry, what? It took a very dark turn.
Yeah.
That's so funny though. Like you were thinking about
it didn't go that way.
It would turn out great.
Yeah.
But Paul, you were like me when Nathan like was like, "Hey, what do you think?"
When I was Wendy.
Yeah, I was like, "Wait, but what if our friendship is ruined, or what if it doesn't work out?" Like we were doing Date Night China together, and I was really worried. I didn't want it to ruin our friendship, and I was like, there's too much at risk." But it also has been okay. So.
So it sounds like us two are the intellectual ones.
Oh my gosh.
And it's these two who are the lead by the heart. Just balls out.
Jump in.
Passion. Live life with passion.
Me and Kay were just working on like carnal desire, after you two.
There you go. See, I just saw you, Paul, and I was like, that's it. That's the one.
That's the one.
While you were brushing your teeth there, I was like, yep. It's him.
Oh yeah, baby. Get those molars.
That's cute.
And then, funny too. Like, it's like because living in China as well, I kind of understood, like, because Paul was at that time was like kind of hinting to me, like, French, you gotta be careful. What if it all turns pear-shaped? Because actually, we were each other's best friends here with me. And we really did everything together. We traveled together. We were very happy in our living space together, enjoyed each other's company and everything. And then like the idea of, in the end, what if I lose this person? And I'm still in a foreign country. And then I've learned that actually a lot of people around me are not people that I would want to spend 24 hours a day with. And it could end up being a big life change again, because actually a lot of the pleasure that I got out of being in China was tied up in my friendship with Paul. The traveling, the hanging out, the sharing new experiences as foreigners together in this environment, which was just so, so lovely. And there was actually a bit of questioning about, am I mistaking this new fun experience with a nice person, am I mistaking it for something that actually it isn't? I should probably like take it easy or something. But fuck taking it easy, it's just boring. So I leave that worrying, taking it easy thing to Paul. Just let him worry about that. And I just like, go, jump.
That's cool though. I think it's great because I can understand there must be that worry, especially when you were in a small city. And so like when that person is like the person you do a lot with and is your support and kind of your family away from home.
That's so important in China, like your community, your friendship group, that's your everything, because you're not going to survive on just work alone, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're away from
Very
family.
true. I mean, I think in Dongying at the time, 7 years ago, there were only about I would say 50 foreigners in this city. And it's a city of 2 million. And it's like to have just 50 foreigners that I knew of, and then to actually hang out with maybe 25 of them that I would see regularly. That's a very, very small group, isn't it? And the expat community in China, like you say, is supports, we all support each other. So it is our local family. So.
I can think of 25 people, foreigners, that I try to avoid straight off the top of my head. Wow. That's no joke.
Wow. But I'm glad
Write in if you think it's you.
But you guys, you made it. And then you were in a relationship. So how was it dating in Dongying and living together? Was it all kind of just the same? And now you're in a romantic relationship?
Yeah, I
I
would
guess so.
say so. I mean, working together, when we first got together, we didn't make it public knowledge.
Mm.
We didn't
Secret.
hide away from it. We just didn't do a big announcement. So
Mm.
at school, things were just kept very professional. So nobody at school particularly knew. It wasn't until going out and about and then people seeing us sharing a kiss here and there and thinking, hey, oh, Paul and Kay, hey,
Oh, that's happening.
Oh,
okay, they waited long enough.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of like, oh, finally, okay.
Sure.
Because we know what you guys have been up to since the beginning. And I was like, oh God. I mean, there's people who are still like who have been here as long as we have, and we're like, nah, you can't fool us. We know what you guys are doing ever since you guys lived together. And I'm like, okay, believe whatever you want to believe. But yeah, it was actually as innocent and as organic and staged like that, it was. And we did try to keep it quite private, so while we were figuring it out in the beginning too,
Yeah.
Yeah, that
we
was
tried
very
to do
important
that
because
too,
it was,
but
Yeah, we
everybody knew.
everybody knew. Yeah, we weren't discreet at all. Actually, we
were-
thought
So-
we thought we were being
Are
discreet.
there any episodes of this podcast where you are secretly together but hadn't announced it to the podcast audience?
oh, good question.
Oh,
Thank you.
you'd have
I'm
to- oh. I guess-
Investigative journalism,
I
yeah?
guess actually we sort of finished the podcast around about the time that we got together. So
I think maybe by Morag's episode.
Yeah,
in
by the
season
very-
one.
by the very last one, yeah,
No, we didn't-
yeah.
I don't think we did announce it though.
No, we definitely
So
didn't announce
that's
it.
a good
Yeah,
question, Paul. I don't think we
Yeah,
had
yeah.
announced it, but we had a
Yeah.
season break, and by season 2, then it was the big announcement.
And also, season 1 was very messy. So even looking back now, it's not as if we did it like the podcast week by week. Like we missed a few episodes just because nobody was. Well, people were listening, but like it was very much a little bit free flowing back then. This 3
With a lot of
years
wine.
on, yeah, 3 years on, we're a little bit more regimented and purposeful, I'd say. But I'd say by definitely the last episode of season 1, we were together. We were together.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no.
I think it'll be interesting to go back.
Maybe maybe I don't know. Actually,
Yeah, we will have to fact check that.
yeah. Actually, no. Thinking about it, yeah. Because
See,
you think about
exactly.
our anniversary.
Yeah.
We finished around about May as well. So guys, tell us about the engagement then and how that came about.
So that was, we got engaged. We had a spring festival trip to Finland. So the idea of the trip being to search for the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis in Finland. So we went to Lapland and we got there. So I'd planned, right, okay, romance, let's get it done. Aurora Borealis, beautiful nightlight sky thing, stunning. Let's do a proposal under there. And then
Makes it sound so romantic, eh? Right, Aurora Borealis, right, okay.
That's-
right.
pure Yorkshire romance.
Right.
This is as romantic as Yorkshiremen get. I love, I think he's doing a bag up job.
It sounds like you just grabbed my shoulders and pointed me to the sky and like, there you go, look at it, it's beautiful. Let's go. Marriage.
So yeah, nothing more to say really. Kay just explained the whole thing there. So before we went, I was like, right, okay, so proposal. So got the ring, hid it away in the bags, got to the airport, was thinking, shit, they're gonna tell me to empty my bag at the security line at the airport. But luckily got away, she didn't see anything, none the wiser, made it there. And then stage 2 then was finding these bloody Northern Lights, which are extremely temperamental. So we were there, how long? Maybe 10 days?
Yeah, something like that. 10 days.
10 days. We did several nighttime excursions in the hope to see the lights. So you can't, there's no forecast per se. Like there's times where you've got a better chance, but no definites. So the first maybe week, we hadn't seen anything. And like that ring in my pocket was burning and burning. I was like, oh, maybe I just find some really nice snow, like the whitest, powderiest, most beautiful snow ever. But I was like, no, keep trying. So they have this thing called the, I think it's a KP index or something, which is about the magnetic science in the air that determines the best probable time for the to see the lights. And we one evening we decided to climb up a snowy hill.
No, Paul decided.
Yeah.
I was not.
Paul decided, right,
dead.
we've had dinner, we did all our daytime activities. Okay, tonight apparently we're supposed to be seeing the lights.
It's exhausting, you know. It's such a beautiful, beautiful environment. And the people there are so lovely. But the temperatures were like -40, I think, at night, -45 sometimes. And in the day, even, it was like -30. And I was like, oh my God. You know, like the hotel actually, it was so cold. The hotel had given us extra thermal clothing, like big, what do you call them? Like overalls that you clip on the top. They'd given us boots and hats because they just knew that whatever we had brought, it was never going to be enough. And so that's what we lived in all day, every day. And in those temperatures, it's surprising how quickly you get tired just walking around, you know. And we'd been out every evening, including that evening. We'd been out like tramping up and down a couple of the hills and slopes. And yeah, and then we got back to the hotel room, and then Paul's KP index started saying, oh, it's looking good, it's looking good. So Paul was like, right, okay, put your overalls back on. We're getting back out there. And I was like, okay, we can do this. But damn, I was tired as, man. But yeah, I didn't know what you were doing.
So we found this this hill, climbed to the top. It was a ski slope. So we were staying in like a log cabin in a sort of ski resort area. So circling the hotel and the log cabins was a ski slope. So climbed to the top of this ski slope, which was hell.
Sinking down to the thigh in the snow, tramping, and then going all the way in the snow, and whoa, exhausting.
Got to the top though, and by the time we got to the top, the Northern Lights were there.
Yeah,
we could see them dancing in the sky.
Oh,
it's like, right, okay, set. So we started doing some photos, putting the timer on the phone, putting the phone in a glove in the snow, and then getting in position. So after we'd taken a couple, I was like, right, let's do one more, and then set the timer on, ran up to her, and then as the timer was counting down, dropped to one knee. And then it was like, and Kay was like, what are you doing? I was like, okay.
Oh, I freaked out.
Wait, we're taking a photo. Don't move. So we had this beautiful moment of me down in one knee in the snow, Kay thinking, oh. And
I thought, oh my God, what are you doing? He's dropped something. Just leave it. Pick it up after the photo. Just leave it. Stand up. And then when he was looking at me, I was like, oh, I see. Oh, nice. Oh, I see.
So then, after the photo, went ahead with the proposal. Luckily, she said yes, which was nice. And then we have so we've got a nice kind of blurry-ish, silhouette-y kind of photo of us with the lights in the sky behind us.
It's beautiful. It's a great engagement photo. I remember asking you, I was like, is this from the real moment? Because, you know, sometimes you miss the moment and couples have to recreate it, which is okay. I would totally do the same thing. Yeah. But like, yeah, I would. I'd be like, wait, reenact that. But you were like, no. That was like from the actual moment. So I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. Well done, Paul.
Yeah. And isn't it strange that the index you're looking for, the KP index, is also your initials?
So
right,
funny.
I don't know if we've ever
didn't even
joked about or mentioned that before, but there we go. What's a serendipity right there?
You remember
Yeah.
when we came to Beijing, and then I think Paul was trying to explain about this sciencey thing forecast, and neither of us could remember what it was. So actually, as we're chatting, I'm like looking for my phone. What's the Northern Lights forecast called? And it came up KP index. I was like, how did we not
a
remember
Kelaeni
that?
Paul. It's a Kelaeni Paul
Yeah.
index.
Aw,
That's it.
destiny.
So yeah,
So
There
you
we
got
go.
engaged and then you came back to China, right? And then how was
But
wedding
things went,
planning
things went awry then trying to get married after that, right?
during the pandemic or right before the pandemic?
we thought we had quite a big job anyway. So my family being in the UK, Kelaeni's family being in Fiji. So it's like, right, okay, 2 weddings. So we put the deposit down on a place in England. We spoke to the Archbishop of
Polynesia.
Polynesia, some big wig church guy in Polynesia, which I thought was very impressive. I had a meeting with him, and he said he'd marry us together, not
us marry him.
uh,
No.
but he was,
Yeah.
I mean, he was nice, but
We just met.
so we were set. We had wedding in the UK, I think in July. It would have been June, July.
It was June, I think.
And then following up with the second wedding in Fiji. This was going to be in 2020, I believe.
It was, yeah.
And then boom, COVID. Yay.
Oh my gosh, we'd actually had friends and family who had bought their flight tickets already. So they'd booked their flights and paid for them, and they were looking at hotels and stuff already because we'd confirmed the dates. So especially Paul's family were like ready for the trip to Fiji. And because it is such a big trip, literally Fiji and England are on opposite ends of the earth. So what is it? It's so the UK is 0 for Fiji, and Fiji is 12 hours, whatever it is, 180. So anyway, the day starts in Fiji, but it used to until some kind of politics moved the timeline, whatever. Day starts in Fiji, and then exactly on the other end is the Greenwich Mean Time starting. So I don't know, I like to think about that. It's quite interesting. We come from opposite ends of the earth and met each other.
Literally. Yeah.
And then our families were willing to make such a massive effort to travel so far as well, that they had bought the tickets and they were so excited. And that actually we went to Fiji for 2019 Christmas. And so Paul had his first tropical Christmas, and there was a cyclone and everything, and the power got cut. And so he got like a proper tropical Christmas Fiji style while we were there. And then when we got back to China, we started pushing ahead with the wedding plans, in spite of this virus, which we thought, well, it's not really anything massive. It's going to go away in like a month or so. So we'd better just start buying our tickets and stuff. Better get my dress, And then Chinese government made this like big announcement, I think, what is it, January, that they were starting the lockdowns. And then we were told, okay, we're going to have to start teaching online. And then the news just sort of started building and building. But I think even by March, if not April, the rest of the world was kind of still seeing it as like, well, that's a China problem, not an us problem, weren't they?
Yeah.
And we were like in 2 minds about it. I was a bit more certain that this was going to affect our plans, but we like held off as long as possible from like canceling or anything. But I think by April, we just decided, we can't do anything about this. Flights are being canceled. I remember there was a lot of evacuation flights, right? UK evacuation flights, American evacuation flights. And I thought, wow, like governments are literally evacuating their citizens out of the country and blocking visitors from this country. Like something serious is going on here. So and then of course it turned out that it was pretty serious. And so we had to contact everybody and tell them, hey, sorry guys, looks like we're gonna have to move it from June to maybe October.
But we're still accepting all hours at this point. So
Yeah, sure,
take
of
all the
course. Wow. So when did it dawn on you that actually this is not blowing over? And I mean, even working out that like it's physically difficult to get married. Say if you went forgo, you know, friends and family visiting, like even that suddenly then became a problem, right?
following finding out that, okay, so the weddings abroad are not going to happen anytime soon.
That was about April, I think. I remember.
Yeah. So like, right, okay. So we'll hold off a bit. We'll see. I mean, can't last forever, can it? I mean, here we are 2 years later.
Yeah.
But so it's like, right, we'll hold off for a bit. So we held off maybe a year. I thought, right, well, fuck, nothing's changing here.
Yeah.
So we started looking into, right, how do we get married in China? Like we can have the official marriage thing here, and then when we can get back, we'll have the big parties in the UK and Fiji and a proper celebration with the family. But at least over here we can get it done. But then obviously because life hates us, a couple of years ago they changed the law in China that two foreigners can't get married. So we're like, oh shit.
Just
okay.
a few months before we had made the decision that, okay, we'll just get the paperwork done anyway here. And then when we started looking into getting it done, then I saw, oh, okay, about 2 months ago, they just changed the law. Cool.
It's like you had so many good universe signs in the beginning, getting together and the proposal
and the KP index.
And then both of the people you were dating left, like all of these signs coming together. And then now it's like all these signs are like, no.
Yeah. I think it must have been like, okay, so you look like you're strong enough now. Boom, here's a challenge. Boom, here's another one. Let's see how you handle this one.
But eventually you did, right? I mean, because then it was a few years later or however long it was, you did actually plan a wedding here.
Yeah. So what happened with the consulate here? How did that come about?
Yeah. So I applied to the consulate, found out after doing some internet sleuthing, found out, right, okay, we can get married at the UK consulate. No worries. Easy, set, done. So contacted them. They've stopped doing weddings because of COVID. Brilliant. So we kept on at them, phoning them, emailing them. Can we get married now, please? Please, sir. Please, can we have a wedding, please, sir? Excuse me, sir. Awfully sorry to bother you again, but might we possibly maybe have a wedding if that's okay?
Literally.
We got to the point where we were looking at. We found out you can do online weddings in the state of Ohio, I think it is, in
Utah.
America. Utah, is it?
That's it.
We've known a lot of people doing that lately.
So we looked into that, and just as we were umming and ahhing over it, then we finally got an email from the consulate, UK consulate, saying, "Do you know what? You can have a wedding." And boom. So
wait, no, and then boom, Beijing started to go into lockdown.
Yeah.
Right at just at the end of the big Shanghai like scare, their terrible lockdown.
Yeah,
then
terrible.
Beijing started to like, oh, I think we're gonna lock down. So that just like, oh God.
We had our first wedding date, I think early to mid-June, was it maybe? And then just as we were about to go like the day or so before, then Beijing started hitting a lockdown. Everyone was doing tests every 2 days, and we're like, oh shit. So we spoke to them and they said, yeah, it might be best to postpone it for a little bit. So postponed it for a month, and then it was still not ideal conditions, especially compared to at the moment Dongying's had no cases, so we're doing like weekly tests at the moment.
But then the difficulty with that is it makes the Dongying authorities like hyper vigilant, hyper paranoid about any imported cases, So as soon as I told our community manager, because we have to report any travel outside the city, as soon as I reported that we were going to Beijing for a bit, and it was just like, this was the most stressful thing on earth for her, She was just like, oh God, okay, you need to do this, and you're going to need to do this, and send me the form for this, tell me exactly the community, the Selchu, whatever that you're going to.
Oh, wow.
And like the lockdown, not lockdown, what do you call it? Isolation. You'll have to isolate for 2 weeks when you come back from Beijing. At first it was 7 days in a hotel isolation, and then 14 days isolation at home. So I was like, 21 days isolation just for a trip to Beijing and back again. Like, yeah, so they were really like paranoid. So that meant basically more than a month of work combined with the embassy's requirement for getting married, because they have a 2 weeks bans process. So I just love that photo of the notice of our upcoming marriage when they put our names in and then stuck it on the embassy door. I love that. So that went up for 2 weeks, So that 2 weeks plus the 7 days plus the 21 days, and oh my goodness, that's a lot of arrangement we have to do beforehand.
So eventually we got to Beijing. The wedding was planned. The only thing we needed was 2 witnesses, and because of, as Kelaeni said, we would have to miss like a month of work for this wedding. So to ask any of our friends here to come with us and them also miss a large amount of time of work, it wasn't possible. It wouldn't be nice of us to ask someone to do that.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I
we got
also
to
think
Beijing.
that maybe, maybe those friends are not your real friends at all, and real friends would come to the wedding, in my personal opinion. But what do I know? What do I know?
Now we can't share the link.
See, we were going to share to all of our friends this podcast, but
I don't mean that, real friends.
No, I'm sure that was difficult and really hard. But that was just so.
But that's how we met.
Yeah, that's how we met, and that
exactly. So this is how you guys come into the story.
There you go. And it was so nice actually to like have you guys as the witnesses, because it was so, the way that we were in Beijing, we'd asked a couple of friends if maybe they were free, because we only have like literally a couple, 2 friends in Beijing.
Yeah, we're not very likable people.
And they were both busy because they're teachers as well, and so they literally fell on their teaching days. So yeah, you found us when basically we were just fishing in foreigners WeChat groups, like, please, is anybody out there? Does anybody want to be our witness? We'll buy you lunch, please.
So I guess you guys can continue the story from here.
Yeah, so I think a friend notified us, and then because I guess they probably thought of me and Rachel because of what we do and thought it was dead romantic. And then, I sent Rachel a quick message. I had to go into the British WeChat group, which I'm not generally a part of. So I joined that and sent out a message. And it was pretty straightforward. And I said, hello, we'd like to come. And that was pretty much it, really. And then we all got chatting. And then we, because you were in Beijing for a little while, and you suggested that maybe we go out before to get to know you before the big day. And we went to the lovely, very British themed pub, the Arrow Factory. And we had a lovely evening getting to know you both.
Yeah. I just thought it was so special too, like, and happy that we could be there and just meet you guys, because I just felt like, when it's your wedding day and you guys have been through so many things trying to get to this point, and then you can't even have your friends or your family. And we're like, well, hopefully we can just go and be part of that. Cause I would just feel the same way. You're like, well, I hope some nice people will step in and not some strangers, some weirdos. Were you worried a bit that who might show up, or were you like, hey?
Oh God, yeah. So before we met you guys for the meal, we were like, right, there's a couple of ways this can go down.
Yeah.
Number one, there are a couple of practical jokers who think it's hilarious to mess us around and then we'll be stood there waiting
Yeah.
ages and ages, and you'll never turn
And they're
up.
gonna stand us up.
Second one was, they're obviously swingers.
Yeah.
Like that's where this is going.
And they want more than lunch in payment.
So we had to have a serious discussion about what we were willing to do to get married.
It's been a struggle, you know.
Uh,
Got a question.
Third option was obviously black market organ dealers.
Obviously, yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And again, like we looked online, you can live with just one kidney, so it was an option.
I thought, okay, that's how far we can go for that scenario. Gotcha.
But then when
we could have gotten a lot
when
more
you
out of
actually
this.
turn-
we could have got a lot more
We
out
got
of this.
2 kidneys.
Oh,
Damn.
Too late, no refunds.
that would have been a new flat screen TV and then some, you know?
Damn. Yeah.
Man, we were so happy when you guys sat down and then we started chatting, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it was
so
a
lovely.
big
This is
like
best case
relief.
scenario.
Okay, these are
Yeah.
just genuinely nice people.
Yeah.
And
No,
oh
yeah.
my god, thank you.
Yeah,
Like
thank you.
No, we were happy. We were
No.
so happy. It was really cool to meet at Aero Factory. And then like the wedding day, I think like we met you guys at a Starbucks before, and you were both like dressed up. You were in your white dress.
Looking very dapper and beautiful.
Had your hat on, Paul. You looked great. And I think I was just really curious what would happen. Like we hadn't been to a consulate wedding before, and what was gonna happen. Where would it
Yeah.
be? Like, so how did that work for you guys? Were you surprised by the process, or was it kind of like what you expected?
So the actual process itself, they'd given us the basics when we'd gone in to make, what do they call it? The application or the declaration or something like that.
notice of marriage.
Oh, that's it. Notice of marriage. And so I remember asking, where will they do the actual ceremony thing? And we were standing in the reception area, and she was standing behind the plexiglass thing. And she just pointed in the reception area. She's like, there. I was like,
In front of the
okay.
picture of the Queen.
in front of the picture of the Queen.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
There was a picture of the
With, like,
queen.
the 6 reception area seats. So I think we both looked around and were like kind of taking it in, like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But she might have taken it as sort of like, oh, I don't think they're very happy about this. So she said, don't worry, we'll like lock the door and everything. So like, we'll make it private. And I was like, okay,
We'll make it private. But there was that sign on the outside of the door, which was really great. It
Yeah.
was the door. What did it say? It was like, today is your marriage. If anyone is going to object,
Please go to the security guard at the
yes.
front or something.
yeah.
Because that's what you do in a
Yeah.
wedding. You know, if anybody doesn't
love-
want these two people to marry, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah.
But,
Yes.
you know, there it's like, no, go to the security guard.
What would he do?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if somebody objected, what was going to happen? I don't know.
We should have
I
like
know.
slipped him.
Oh,
a
and
50.
they were serious as well.
Yeah, we should have slipped him a 50 and said, if anybody comes to you, we're going to like a dumbass request like that. You keep them there.
Take him out.
They've got a bomb.
That notice was up for the full 2 weeks, apparently. I thought the funniest thing was that I think legally they have to put it in a public area or put it as a public notice thing. But the funny thing to me is that anybody of the public would have to get past the security guard first and to have an
Right.
appointment to get to the door to be able to see the notice.
It would be a big
And I was like,
hassle to
okay,
try to
cool.
object to this wedding. Yeah.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
And also in the middle of Beijing, like I don't know what.
And yeah, so I guess the best advice is if you're going to get married at the consular, don't piss off any of the embassy staff, because
Yeah.
they're the people who are going to be walking past this notice of marriage and
Yeah.
might have something to say. So yeah, mind your
Yeah.
P's and Q's and
Mm.
Top tip.
Yeah.
But what was cool, for my big day with you guys, was like
our big day. The
Our
first
big-
one.
You're right. Our big day was signing the book. You know, like, I didn't expect to do that. I thought we were
I
just
didn't
there. as
think we were going to do
like,
anything.
literal witnesses, but then it's like, oh yeah, you do have to sign the book. You know,
Yeah.
and that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Our names are in that book. That's
Yeah, forever.
pretty cool.
But yeah, I mean, forever, you two, and thank goodness you've been so lovely. You two will have a part of our marriage forever and ever.
Oh,
It was great. And we were getting a bit emotional.
Emotional, even though it was just kind of in that
when you were saying the vows and like I do and stuff.
Really official, because I guess who was that guy? Was he wasn't the ambassador, was he? He was just an official.
The ambassador to China.
No, I think he was a
UK's
deputy
ambassador to China.
Yeah, he was deputy ambassador.
Oh, deputy ambassador. Okay, because he was official, and he does all the weddings.
Oh wow,
right?
That's quite high up.
Yeah, and he was really lovely as well. He was like positioning you guys. He was like, you might want to stand this way for the photos, so it could be like nice against the wall.
Because you had the Union Jack and you had the Queen in the background.
Yeah,
Lizzie was there.
Yeah. Also, a tip for anybody who does this: you can only have one camera. So you can bring your phone or a camera, but everybody else, you can't bring them in. Yeah.
Good tip. Yes.
Good advice.
And you're not allowed to film videos in there, but you can take photos.
Yeah.
So,
and to be fair, like all of the staff that we interacted with were great. The only issues we ever encountered was just like the general sort of bureaucratic bullshit that goes along with it. Yeah. Which is just, I guess, the system. But all of the people from I think we dealt with maybe 4 people at the consulate.
Yeah.
And they're all very helpful, very friendly, happy to do it. Just they had to work around whatever system they had to work around.
Yeah.
It was such a special thing to be a part of and so unique, it's not as if these opportunities anywhere to be, to be witnesses and guests and get to know a couple that are strangers, and what a wonderful thing to be a part of. And we were so lucky to do it. So thank you ever so much for, choosing us. You could have gone for like a plan B people or some more people. You could have put the call out again, but you didn't. So thank you.
Yeah, it was so lovely, and we were really happy we could be there. Yeah, congrats, you two.
Yeah,
newlyweds.
That's perfect.
And just as we wrap up, have you got, for any couples out there or people wanting to get illegal green cards and get a new passport, any advice on getting married in China?
So just for people who might generally be interested, so myself and Kelaeni are both British citizens, so we were able to get married at the UK consulate. There were options on the forms for if one of the couple is not from the UK, where are they from? And it looks like the only additional thing they needed was a single certificate from their home country. So say you're an Englishman and an American lady.
Or a Chinese lady.
Oh.
Considering we're in China.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't need to go to the embassy.
Oh, no, yes. Yeah.
So if you're an Englishman, say Yorkshireman, and an American lady, then the American lady, you just have to go to the American embassy, get a single certificate proving that she's not been married anywhere else, that she and then should, in theory, not have any problems.
Yeah.
From what we could tell from the paperwork, that is.
Yeah. Because I'm a dual citizen, I got one just in case anyway from Fiji. So, and it seemed like a very straightforward process and seemed like a very standard thing that they were issuing all the time. So I would assume it'd be like that in all countries, that it's just like, okay, just confirm that you've never been married and there you go, here's your letter. Yeah.
And if you contact Nathan or Rachel about being witnesses, they turn up on time, they're punctual, they dress well, bring a camera there.
Number one.
Like if we can put a Yelp review or what's the equivalent over
6 out
here?
of 5 stars.
Wow, thank you.
Wow, I'm gonna share that with everybody.
Yeah,
what a great review.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on the show and sharing your story. And please, just keep in touch and let us know how the wedding and married life goes. Like maybe we do a follow-up episode. On the other, the weddings abroad. I don't know.
There must be quite a lot of interesting wedding stuff going on, especially with this COVID and so many foreigners away from home. Must be quite a few romances being confirmed around. Should be some very interesting stories.
Definitely. Well, we were a COVID romance.
Yeah. And Quite interesting.
Is there a cool phrase for a COVID romance yet? Like a lockdown get down or
I like that though.
You just made it.
Yeah.
I
Hashtag that copyright that already. Yeah. A lockdown get down.
I don't know if I want my
Love
name
and
associated
lockdown.
with that.
We'll workshop it. We'll workshop it.
Awesome.
Okay, guys. Well, thanks a lot, and thanks for being on the show.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.